I'm Charlie Nardozzi. If you're a vegetable or herb grower, you never want the season to end. In some parts of the country, you can get away with that, but for most of us, we have to deal with frost and the fall. But there are ways to extend your season so you can have a longer harvest. In this video, I want to talk about the 3 things you're going to need to do to get a long, extended season. One of them is choose your vegetables wisely. Get ones that'll grow really well under those conditions. The second is to time your planting, and then third, using different kinds of materials to extend the season. Now, a lot of these materials and techniques I'm going to talk about can be used in the spring as well, so you can get your tomatoes, your cucumbers out earlier. But it's autumn in my garden, so let's talk about ways to do it so you can extend your season into the fall, maybe even into the end of the year, so you can have a bountiful harvest. The first step is to select your veggies, and leafy greens are probably one of the easiest ones to grow because you can actually harvest them at any stage of maturity. All these crops grow really well with the cooler fall temperatures, but it's not so much temperatures that's the issue, it's day length. In the fall, the days are shorter and the light intensity is less, so that actually will cut back on your production of your crops. Timing is everything. If you're in a zone 5 climate like I am, and your first fall frost date is around mid-October, you're going to want to be planting your broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all those brassicas around the end of July. Peas and root crops will be coming in soon after that. So we'll be planting those right next. And then after that, you'll be planting leafy greens about 6 weeks before your first fall frost date. That way, everything will mature on time. But that means pulling out old plantings mercilessly to make room for the new fall crops. Consult your local cooperative extension service for the best fall planting dates, no matter where you are in the country. So we talked about what vegetables to plant to extend the season and the timing of those plantings. The next thing is to talk about what are the materials you can use to extend that season even longer. You can certainly buy or build a cold frame for a more permanent fixture in your yard. Cold frames are made from wood, blocks, or metal and have a glass or plexiglass top. The cold frame allows you to plant a bit later into the season and protect plants for weeks. The downside, of course, is you'll need to ventilate it during sunny days. Even if it's cool, your plants can fry inside if it's not ventilated properly. Crop protections aren't just for newly sown veggies or a big cold frame. You can protect individual plants like this hot pepper right here from the first frost. What's nice about that is that if you can get through that first frost, often you'll have a couple weeks of nice warm temperatures after that, kind of like an Indian summer, so you can actually get an extended season. There are a few cool devices that provide more protection than just a sheet or a tarp. Individual cloches made out of glass or plastic can be placed over small plants such as basil to protect them. But like a cold frame, you'll have to stay on top of it during the sunny days and keep the vents open to keep it cool. There are also these pop-up covers that can be placed around a plant and they can extend to cover the whole plant. Just like my padron pepper right here is all protected. The top is made out of a mesh for better ventilation, or you can just leave the top open on sunny days. It'll protect your plant from a light frost. But the best material for plant protection is the floating row cover. This polypropylene cloth-like material has revolutionized season extending and plant protection, allowing gardeners to successfully grow things throughout the season. Now, it comes in different kinds of weights. This is a lightweight or a summer weight fabric that lets in about 85% of the light. This is good for mostly animal and pest protection. Other materials such as micromesh or tulle also are great for keeping pests away from newly sown beds. I like them because you can see right through them and see what's happening inside the bed, and you can water them really easily, but they offer little or no frost protection. The next weight of this fabric is called the standard garden row cover. This one will let in about 70% of the light and protect plants down to about 28 degrees. It's a good material to use in early fall as your plants are starting to mature. For absolute frost protection, try the Garden Quilt. This is a heavier weighted row cover made from thicker polypropylene. It can protect plants down to 25 degrees. It allows 60% of the light through. Since it blocks more light and rain than lighter weight materials, you'll have to open it up more often to work around the plants. It's best to use it on crops that are close to maturing that you want to hold until later in the fall. While you can simply lay the floating row covers over plants for some protection, for the best cold protection, use some type of support. Bent metal hoops allow you to create a tunnel where the plants don't come in contact with the fabric, so they survive the cold longer. You can also protect larger, more mature plants with higher or super hoops. Secure these tunnel fabrics with boards, stones, or stakes. You can start your newly planted fall crops under a micro mesh or a lightweight floating row cover to keep the pests out. And then as it gets colder, you can transition to a heavier weighted floating row cover to protect them from frost. So whether you're using an individual cloche to protect one plant or a floating row cover to protect a whole bed of plants, you can use these materials and devices to extend your growing season well into the fall. For more gardening tips, go to gardeningwithcharlie.com.